Today I'm sharing my recipe for a big chewy chocolate chip cookie cake. I love cookie cake so much, and I was actually eating some before doing this recording. So let's get started. We're going to start with our dry ingredients. So in a large bowl, add 2 3/4 cup all-purpose flour, then 1.5 teaspoon cornstarch, 1 teaspoon baking soda, and 1 teaspoon salt. I'm doing 2 half teaspoons here just because the 1 teaspoon can't fit into the jar. And then we're going to lightly whisk together. We're going to use 1.5 sticks of unsalted butter. You want to microwave it on very low because we don't want the butter to be too hot, and then set aside. Then we're going to add our brown sugar. So you can use a combination of light or brown sugar, but I'm using 2 cups of brown sugar for this one. Then I'm just going to separate our eggs. So we want 2 eggs plus 1 egg yolk. And I always save my egg whites because I use it for my royal icing frosting, and I have to make some royal icing cookies this weekend. I'm also going to prepare our semi-sweet chocolate chips. So I'm using 1.5 cups, and I love Nestle. I grew up with Nestle and Toll House cookies, so I just always go to this chocolate, but you can use whatever chocolate you prefer, although I do recommend semi-sweet. Ignore me awkwardly rearranging the ingredients to get a good shot, but now that they're all ready, we can begin. Preheat your oven to 350 Fahrenheit or 180 Celsius, and then you want to either line your 13-inch pan with parchment paper in order to get out easier, or no parchment paper if you're going to serve it in the pan. Then you're going to add into a stand mixer the brown sugar and the melted butter, and you just want to mix it just until it's incorporated. It really doesn't take too long, and we don't want to really overdo any mixing in this recipe, so we'll just keep it at medium speed. You can also use a large bowl with a handheld mixer if you don't have a stand mixer. And you can see it really took no time at all. So now we're going to add our eggs, and we're going to add our vanilla extract, and we're going to mix that again on medium speed until combined. And a tip for my home bakers out there who sell their stuff, I get my vanilla at Costco because it's such a better deal and it has a really good taste, especially if you use a lot of vanilla. Getting it in bulk is really handy. Now we're going to add our dry ingredients to the wet ingredients, and I am adding the flour in 2 batches. And the reason why I do this is because I don't want to overwork our whisk attachment or the motor itself of the machine, but I also like to incorporate it slowly. I feel ingredients just work better when they're incorporated slowly, unless of course you are doing some type of recipe that acquires a lot of aerating and air, but for this recipe we're not doing that. So I added the first batch, and I'm adding the rest of the flour, and you only want to mix it until it's combined. It's really easy to overmix dough, and we don't want to do that. Now we're going to add in our chocolate chips, and I'm going to use a rubber spatula to mix it all up. I like to take the bowl off the stand just because I find it easier to hold on to the bowl to mix it. And you really want to give it a good mix because we want our chocolate chips to be pretty evenly distributed. And if you don't like chocolate chips, because I kind of sometimes don't like too many chocolate chips, you could just cut this down to half a cup or a cup instead of the full 1.5 cups. There's something about chocolate chip dough that's really good, but sometimes I'm not craving all the chocolate chips. I know there's other people out there like me. But anyway, we're going to just put the mixture into our 13-inch pan. I'm not using parchment because I'm going to be serving this in the pan. Now you can get away with doing this in a 9x13 pan if you don't have a big round one, but you are going to probably have to add a few more minutes to the time. So I bake this for about 22 to 24 minutes, but if you're going to do it in the rectangle pan, you may need to add about 3 or 4 more minutes. You just want it to look nice and brown all over on top, and to get an even brownness, I recommend putting it in the center of the oven. And I showed you guys my Eat Cookies Be Happy sweater. I thought it was fitting for this video. If you wanted to decorate the cookie, then I suggest using American buttercream, and I do have a recipe that I will link below. I also did make a video too. I just didn't include it in this video because I wanted it to be short and to the point about a chocolate chip cookie cake, but I will definitely put the links below if you're curious. So I'm using a 1M tip for this piping bag, and here's a trick. If you have a fondant smoother or something with a kind of dull edge, you can help push the icing to the front of the bag Do people in the Midwest just say the word bag kind of funny, or is it just me? Because I've been listening to my voice replaying that part over and over, and it just sounds crazy. So, what I'm going to use to decorate this cookie cake is some Betty Crocker sprinkles, and this is just the colorful jimmies that I showed you in the previous clip. So to pipe the border, we want to make sure that we're going to pipe up and down. So just gently push out the icing without really moving the tip around too much, and that's how you get a really nice, clean design. Now it's time to add your sprinkles, and when it comes to American buttercream, because it is a crusting buttercream, you don't want to wait too long to add your sprinkles, otherwise they're not going to stick. And that was kind of what was happening here just because of filming and recording and just being really slow, but they started going all over the cake. So I decided, you know what, I'm just going to add them all over because why not? It's cute for a party or a birthday or celebration, and I'm really all for sprinkles. I love sprinkles, so you'll probably see me use them a lot to decorate things on my YouTube channel. Now it's time to cut into the cake to do a taste test, which is mandatory when you're baking. But you can store this at room temperature for 5 days. You can either cut it up if you have extra, or you can just put tin foil straight over it like this, and it's going to sit well at room temp. But I'm going to share this with my family and friends, so there will probably not be any left. Thanks guys for watching. I'll see you next time.